Welcome back. How did you like playing those two minor keys that we learned in the last lesson? I bet that was fun. In the next two lessons, we're going to be focused on a new chord progression and feel, the blues. A huge amount of blues songs follow what we call a 12-bar blues chord progression. Today we're going to learn about the 12-bar blues progression in general, and I'm going to show you how to play it in the key of C, G, and D major. We're also going to learn a minor blues in the key of A minor. The 12-bar blues chord progression. Let's start with a little bit of music theory, not too much. The 12-bar blues progression is 12 measures long and uses 3 different chords. The 3 chords that we use in a 12-bar blues progression are the 1 chord, or the chord based on the first note of the scale of the key that we're in, the 4 chord, or the chord based on the 4th note of the scale of the key that we're in, and the 5 chord, or the chord built on the 5th note of the scale of the key that we're in. If you've ever heard the term 1-4-5 progression, that's exactly what I'm talking about now. Remember, these are not rules, they're just commonalities. What makes music artistic and special, to be perfectly honest with you, is finding your own voice within the commonalities that we can all relate to. In the key of C major, the C chord is the 1 chord because it is based on the first note of a C major scale. In the key of C major, the 4 chord is an F major chord because F is the 4th note in a C major scale. The 5th note in a C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, is the 5 chord. G major is the 5 chord in the key of C. We can break the 12-bar blues up into 3 4-measure sections or lines. The first 4-measure section is made up entirely of the 1 chord, or in the key of C major, the C chord. It's very common in blues music or blues progressions to make all of the major chords dominant 7s. So, the 1 chord in C will be C7. Let's put our finger on the C7 chord and strum for 4 measures of 4 counts each. The C7 chord was very easy. Index finger, fret 1, string 1, 4 measures, 4 counts each. Play it with me. I know you can do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. The second group of 4 measures will involve 2 chords. The 4 chord, F, or F7, if you want to have a little bit more fun, and the 1 chord, C7. To play an F7 chord, place your fingers on an F, finger 2 on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and your index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. From here, add either your ring finger or your pinky to the 3rd fret of the 3rd string, like this, or like this, whatever you like better. Press hard, make sure your fingers are nice and curved. Let's hear what that sounds like. F7. Funky. Okay, let's play the second group of 4 measures. 2 measures, 4 counts each of F7, and then 2 measures, 4 counts each of C7. Ready? Let's give it a shot. F or F7. 1, 2, 3, 4. C7. That takes us through 2/3 of the 12-bar blues progression in the key of C. The final 4-measure section of the 12-bar blues is going to use 3 chords. 1 measure, 4 counts, of the 5 chord, in this case G7. Then 1 measure, 4 counts, of the 4 chord, F7. After that, back to C7, our home bass, or our tonic for the key of C, 1 measure, 4 counts, and then the final measure, which is intended to take us back to the beginning of the entire chord progression, will be 1 measure, 4 counts of G7. After that, you can either cycle back to the beginning and play the whole thing as many times as you like, or you can wrap up the song by playing a C7 after the final 4 counts of G7 in the 12th measure. Let's go ahead and try the last section, the final 4 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4. F7, C7, G7, and end. Okay, let's try the complete 12-bar blues chord progression in the key of C together. We'll go at a medium tempo. Don't worry if you can't keep up right now. The idea with learning any instrument is that you have to put the time in practicing on your own. That is the biggest part of the journey, if you ask me. And I happen to be your trusted advisor, so just trust me. Okay, place your fingers on the C7 chord. We'll strum 1 time for every count, or 4 strums for every measure. We'll play the entire chord progression 1 time, and when we're done, we'll end it with a C7. Let's give it a shot. 1, 2, C7. 2, 2, 3, 4, 3. Here's F7, 2, here we go. Back to C. 3rd line, G7, F7, C7. Let's do it a second time. Why not? C7. Second line, F7, C7. Last line, G7, F7, C7, G7. Let's wrap it up. Nice. Now, let's try the same chord progression, the 12-bar blues in the key of G. We will be using a G7 chord, a C7 chord, and a D7 chord. Nothing new. You know all of them. Here's the 12-bar blues in the key of G. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. D7, C7, G7. Did you notice a difference between the G blues and the C blues? Well, there were 2 chords on the first line instead of 1. That's what we sometimes refer to as a quick change in a blues progression. It's just a variation. It's not really a big difference. Go ahead and add the C blues and the G blues to your practice regimen. For our final 12-bar blues chord progression, we're going to try something a little different. We're going to do a minor blues progression instead of major blues. This time, we're going to follow the same progression of 1, 4, 5, but instead of each chord being a dominant 7th chord, which is in the major family of tonality, we're going to play all minor chords. We're going to do the key of A minor. You'll need an A minor chord, a D minor chord, and an E minor chord. Nothing new. If you need to review those, go back and do that and come join us when you're ready. Let's take a moment to learn the E7 chord. The E7 chord we'll use 3 fingers on 3 different strings. Start by putting your index finger on the 1st fret of the 4th string, add your middle finger to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and add your 3rd finger to the 2nd fret of the 1st string. The 2nd string is open. We will strum all 4 strings for an E7 chord. E7. E7 likes to go home, and E7's home is A minor. The strum pattern for the A minor blues is a little tricky. We're going to use 3 upstrokes in a row. Down, up, 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 down. One more time. Down, up, 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 down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, let's do that again. A minor, down, up, 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 down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if we can play the entire thing through together, starting with an A minor chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. D minor's next. Here we go. A minor. E minor. D minor. A minor. E7. Repeat. D minor's next. Here we go. Back to A. E minor. D minor. A minor. E7. For one more 12-bar blues, I added a minor blues with a slight variation. The A minor blues that we just played used only minor chords with the exception of the very end, which was E7. This variation, we're going to use an F chord as well as the E7. Here goes. See if you can play along with me. 12-bar minor blues in the key of A with a slight variation. 1, 2, 3, 4. A minor. D minor. Back to A. F major. E7. A minor. Again, A minor. D minor. A minor. And the last 4 measures. F. E7. A minor. E7. Ending on the A minor. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you learned something. See you at the next lesson.